The Lakers are 2-0 down to the Denver Nuggets. The Philadelphia 76ers are 2-0 down to the New York Knicks, and we're here to tell you how we can try to solve that. This is NBA Casuals. Welcome back. Let's break down these four teams from four amazing games, amazing movies. I'm calling them movies from the script writers that are Adam Silver and the NBA. The best part about this show, John, you're a Sixers fan today, but you might not get to...
Not just today.
You might not get to root for them today. That's what we do on this show. We flip a coin and suddenly our agendas are alive. This is NBA Casuals. Let's lie honestly. Let's get on with it.
Yep.
Let's get locked in. All right. Heads, I get Denver. Tails, I get Lakers. Let me flip the digital coin because it's 2024.
Yep.
It's landing on heads, fellas. It's landing on heads. How are Denver Nuggets going to win against the Los Angeles Lakers? How are we going to do that?
You're halfway there.
I don't have to do I have to do this?
Mic drop.
Do I have to do this? Because I've got... No, let me just name what I can do. I can do a Jokic-Murray pick and roll, empty. I can do a Jokic-Murray pick and roll and then have the lob to Aaron Gordon. I can do anything in the world and then Michael Porter Jr. will nail a shot. I can run a pick and roll, slow it down, and then have them double Jokic, and Jokic can either find a miraculous pass, pull one up himself because he's a great shooter, or he's got Jamal. And what did Jamal do today? The most unbeatable team, the Denver Nuggets, since Golden State Super Team. Buzzer beater, no timeout taken, and they still won the game. We'll get onto that shortly. We'll get onto that shortly.
Okay, wow.
The Denver Nuggets, there is no statement that needs to be said. This is going to be wrapped up. I'm going to give the rest of the minutes to Jono and how the Lakers and Darvin Ham / LeBron, whoever you think is in charge, is going to attack the two games at the Staples Center against Denver. How are they going to do it? What are you going to tell me they're going to fix? Well, what needs fixing?
It starts with the defense because in the first two games, the offense has been pretty good, especially from the stars. LeBron and AD have been great pretty much on the offensive end. Yeah. So it's going to start with the defense. Okay. And today in the first half, you saw like a little blueprint, but that's what they said last year, putting Hachimura on Jokic, like, oh, we see something, and then they get swept.
Nah. That ain't working.
What they did today was they doubled Jokic a lot. They doubled him quick in the post, and it was pretty effective, to be honest. That's because also Jamal shot 3 for 16 in the first three quarters, and then Jamal went in the fourth quarter. So you're just going to have to keep doing that, and then you have to match up properly. But with that Jamal and Jokic pick and roll that you were saying, you've got to have LeBron and LeBron and AD on that.
Okay. And so you want LeBron starting on Murray?
Jamal, and then AD on the Joker.
Okay.
And then with the pick and roll, they can switch if they want to.
It's as switchable as it gets.
Yeah. You want to be able to switch it. When you've got like D'Lo or Reeves on Murray, if they force a switch, you're cooked from there. When Jokic gets that ball, you're cooked.
Exactly.
You're cooked.
And I hated when they had Rui on him in game one. It wasn't going to work. Yep. It's not sustainable.
And then playing AD as a roamer, you can't do it all the time. You
can't do it all the time. And if there's a team you can't have a roamer against, it's the Denver Nuggets.
Yes, that's true. But with AD, you can afford to play around with it because it's
around Gordon. You're saying?
Yeah. Because not because of Gordon, because of AD, because he's so long and a great defender.
I don't know, man. Because I heard all the talk. I heard he could switch 1 to 5, but the moment came today when he had to switch 1 to 5.
They've got to mix it up. Like, you've got to have Hachimura on Jokic a few times, AD as a roamer. You could have Bron on Jokic a few times, have AD as a roamer. And then you got to have AD play him straight up so you can play one-on-one everywhere else. We saw that in the last quarter, and AD got an N1, or not AD, Jokic got an N1, which didn't close the game, but really pretty much brought it back and tied it up.
Yeah. You saw it was a game completely in the Lakers' control. Game two.
Dominated.
Completely in their control.
About 5 minutes ago in that third quarter, it was all Lakers. They were up by 20 with about 20 minutes
to go in the game. You can't do shit like this in the first half of the game. And our Lakers fans have been telling me, do a video on the Lakers. And I'm a strategic little bit. I waited for the right moment, and we're going to talk about them. Yeah. Because first off, you've got a plan that works. When you get down to the other side, if there's no clear transition opportunity, you run through your sets.
Yeah.
Did some Twitter reading
Research on Twitter. Okay.
1.45 that is, per possession on like planned sets in terms of 1v1s.
Like Denver? You're talking
Yes.
about?
No. LA.
Oh, okay.
Up against Denver. But when they freelanced it, when they went off the cuff, drops down to 0.95. That is a 0.5 drop off in points per possession. Shit like that. And then you're going to see people on the old side of NBA media clown LeBron for taking that shot at the end,
Was that
which was
from
a wide
today's
open
game,
three.
that stat?
That's from today's
Okay.
game. You look at that drop off. Anytime they attacked Jokic, and that was clearly the plan in the first half.
AD was on smoke today in that first half.
Exactly.
He was on
but
smoke.
you just had to keep going to it.
You had to.
You can't have scoring droughts when you have
be
an
fair,
answer in attacking Jokic.
They did go to it, and in the last 6 to 7 minutes in that third quarter, it looked like the rim got covered for everyone in that team, including AD. Everything was going in and out, Nothing was going in. And on the back of that, where you said about the organization, they're going 1.4 points per possession. Today was kind of like a vintage LeBron game. A lot of people have said this year.
The choking version of LeBron or
the choking version? Are we doing that?
nah?
We're talking about GOAT LeBron here.
Okay, all right.
So a lot of people this season have said that LeBron, even though he's scoring like 30 or 35, he's not impacting the game that he used to.
Today I felt it.
Even though he scored like 25 or 27, it felt like he scored like 40 plus. And I think that kind of shows in that stat there, because he ran point for the whole game today pretty much. And whether he scored out of it, playmaker out of it, because he had, I think, 10 assists by halftime or something as well. He ran the show, but it was so efficient. No turnovers like game one. And that's something they're going to have to lead on as well. And going back to the defense, the go-to for the Nuggets is that Jamal, Joker pick and roll. Going back to that Jamal and Joker pick and roll, even though they can switch to that and they can hedge here and there, I think something they should try in the next 2 games at Staples is trying to trap the Jamal on that pick and roll. And that might sound crazy because you're leaving Joker with no one on him. But with that length, you can make that pass very, very difficult to get to the Joker a few times.
I don't know.
A few times you can, and you can get a few turnovers out of that. You saw LeBron get the turnover on Jamal with like a minute and a half to go today as well. That was just a one-on-one. With that length, having AD's length as well, either you can get the steal or a kick ball, and you're okay with that.
2 things. It's not okay if I talk about length, girth, and tonnage, but you've got free reign.
Okay.
Secondly, we talked about defense enough. It got a bit boring there. Offense, D'Angelo Russell. I wrote down here yesterday that he needed to prove me wrong and that he was a known quantity.
Yep.
And I will stick by it. Today, shot 7 for 11 from 3 as opposed to 1 from 9 in game 1. D'Angelo Russell is a known quantity, and he will be this to the day he dies. He will win and lose you games on his shooting. There is no difference between game 1 and 2, apart from where the ball landed.
With D'Lo.
Tell me what it was.
I mean, he got the same looks.
He got the same looks.
Same looks.
Same shots.
Yep.
You even heard Denver say. You heard Mike Malone say. It's fine. That was our plan. He made those shots. Just get a bit tighter now.
And that's why I'm focusing so much on the defense for
because
the
you know
Lakers.
these guys. I tried to warn you guys.
I mean,
D'Lo. I told you guys all season. There was a month called April. There was a month called May. There was a month called June that some of you guys don't even get to watch basketball in.
Yeah.
And D'Angelo Russell is unfortunately one of those guys.
I mean, even Dame was saying, this is surprising from him. He was at Coachella last year.
I know.
This year he's in the playoffs.
Exactly. A lot of these guys, regular season fellas, 82 game a season fellas. And only reason I'm showing hate is 1, prove me wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. Happy for you to
you're a hater.
do your job well.
And you're a hater.
Okay, I am a hater, but more importantly, there are guys in the NBA not getting minutes. There are guys in the NBA not getting chances. And then we see those guys occasionally get a chance. It's like, why the fuck wasn't he playing this whole time? Because guys like D'Angelo Russell take up minutes. Anyways, series number 2.
Okay.
Philadelphia 76ers versus the New York Knicks at the Knicks, Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball. Game 1. A self alley-oop by Joel, as I've now learned, Hans Embiid.
Play of the year.
John, before we get started, I want to apologize for how I've carried on in the past 3 days.
No, you don't.
Because you confessed to me that you were laughing at Jimmy Butler.
I didn't. When? I wasn't doing that.
Okay. And I felt it was only right.
You celebrated injury.
No.
That's criminal.
No.
You celebrated injury.
No. You know what I did?
No,
I had
you didn't
two
make
conversations.
No, you didn't make a joke about it a few days later. You celebrated it in the moment.
I had
That
two
is-
conversations.
No, that's criminal.
I had two conversations.
One in your head and one with me.
No. One with you.
They must have been two very different
And
conversations.
then one in another chat where I'm being serious as fuck. Like, guys, this is bad. This should not be happening.
Oh, what other chat is this?
Huh? The football chat. I've got receipts. There's a way I played you and your mental state, and there's a way I played the other boys, and I gave them the respect. Joel Embiid went down, and no one wants to see that shit. But it does raise the question: how do we solve the non-Embiid minutes before we decide who's actually going to argue that?
Yep.
Let's flip a coin. Heads, and Jono gets to rep his Philadelphia 76ers.
Heads, the Knicks.
Okay, fine.
No,
Heads, you're the Knicks. Tails, you're the
Tails never
Sixers.
fails, baby.
It is heads. John, you are a New York Knick, which means I get to tell you how the 76ers can face the Knicks.
Oh, no.
That's the beauty of NBA casuals.
Okay, wow.
Guys, if you've liked the show so far, hit the subscribe button. Joel Embiid,
This is the moment.
minus 21 in his minutes that he was on the bench in game one. Minus 6
okay.
today. Oh, what? You thought that was his...
I was like, where are you going with this?
You thought that was his minute?
The math ain't mathin'.
I know. You got worried, and I understand. A lot of Sixers fans get worried because their guys are unreliable. I got two questions for you, John. One question, one opinion, but in the minutes that Joel Embiid is off, we know how good he is when he's on, and even with this freak injury, he can still score like...
He's impacting the game still.
He can still score better than most NBA players.
Yep.
What is the role of Tobias Harris, I will say his name, and Paul Reed in these minutes? How does this function right now?
Do you want an honest answer?
How does it function right now? I need it. I need the honest
Tobias,
answer.
the best way for Tobias to contribute to this playoff run is to make sure the towels, the tape, the water is all there for Embiid when he comes to that bench.
Okay.
He should not be anywhere on this court. He's been horrible.
So what's your 5?
Zero impact.
What's your 5
What's my
when
5?
Embiid is off?
When Embiid is off,
Yeah.
well, obviously Paul Reed's got to be the 5.
Yes.
Maxi's got to be on.
Okay. Kyle Oubre.
You could, Kelly Oubre and Kyle Lowry. You
Yes.
made it sound like one name.
Okay.
And Nick Batum.
Batum.
Yep.
So Batum at the 4.
Yeah.
So you genuinely don't even want to consider Tobias Harris?
No.
I saw him putting in work today. I saw him rebounding.
Rebounding.
Yeah. I saw him missing shots and rebounding.
That's what he did in game 1. You saw that screenshot. Missed layup, offensive rebound. Missed layup,
The
offensive rebound.
play-in
Missed tip shot,
was beautiful.
offensive rebound.
The play-in was beautiful.
Ridiculous.
I told you in the play-in, I got to learn everything about the 76ers that I would see hurt you guys.
He's been so ineffective. Like when he's had mismatches, he's tried to attack and he's just missed playing point blank shots. He's taken bad shots and he's not hitting his open shots. And then defensively, he's done all right. But for getting paid $38 million this season, it's a disgrace.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Disgrace.
You're talking
Absolute disgrace.
you're talking about where Philly money should be going. All right, and this is what I told you last night. Yeah,
Where this money should be going now or next season?
no, next season. Yeah,
Next season.
Okay, just hear me out.
Okay.
You've got Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
You know, every season you close your eyes, you envision the season, you have this beautiful dream,
Yeah.
and then I sit here and tell you the guy's going to get injured.
Yeah.
Every season, without fail. Last season, missed games in the 7-game series against Boston. Season before, missed 2 games against Miami. This shit is going to happen. So if it is, can we invest money in a 4/5? Can we hustle the Timberwolves for Nas Reed? Can we go out there and
I like
get
that.
something?
I like that
Get
idea.
something. Anyone. Kelly Olynyk for anyone.
No.
Anyone that can play the 4
You
or
and your
5.
love for Kelly Olynyk needs to be studied.
Anyone.
Needs to be studied.
Can
If you
can
love
we
your
commit?
future girlfriend the way you love Kelly Olynyk,
Yeah.
luckiest girl in the world.
I know.
Luckiest girl in the world.
I'd love to meet her one day. Anyways, but if you are serious about contending, you
Yeah.
will have to win games without this guy. And you don't have James Harden there to win you games without him anymore, John.
Win your games without him.
What did he do?
Win your
What did he do? Game 1 last season against Boston. He stepped up.
Is the playoff about games or series?
Well, I'm saying it is about games because that's how many Embiid's going to miss.
I feel like you can't account for that. Like
I'm telling you, you have to. I'm telling you, you've got a guy who's going to miss 3-4 games.
You're going to lose stuff the rest of the roster, though.
And that's a price I'm willing to pay because, like you said, this is an MVP level talent, John. If you got an MVP level talent and he's fragile, I'm building contingencies.
Man,
let's talk about the Knicks because, John, you've been going through enough Sixers talk for one day. This is getting too emotional.
I'm done with it. I'm done.
This is getting too emotional. The New York Knicks. Can you tell me what problem they're going to face when they come to Philly? Because people are talking about this on the road game. These Villanova boys know Philly like the back of their hands, John. Okay? They've been in there.
Know the real Philly.
They've been in there. What is the real Philly?
They don't know the real Philly.
Tell me the real Philly.
The real Philly is Boston, but not on steroids. We're a bit kinder, but we can also be a bit meaner. We can also be a bit meaner.
You think them Knicks boys ain't no mean?
I mean, nah. Josh Hart, maybe. He's the only star on that team. He's the only star on that team.
He's playing like it.
Yeah. I mean, the bench players have pretty much... Bench and the role players have carried this team the first two games, have got them both these wins. I feel like that home crowd, just the vibe of Madison Square Garden has really got them into that vibe.
8 for 15.
They've absolutely destroyed it.
8 for 15, Josh Hart from threes.
Shooting 30% for the season. He's come out, gone 4 for 7 and 4 for 8 in the first two games. And he's the reason, or the main reason they've won these two games pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the case in Philly for Josh Hart and for the role players like Robinson and Hartenstein in game 1 and McBride as well. And a bit of Robinson. Hartenstein today especially as well.
Big buckets.
Big buckets.
Short roll.
In that third quarter, I think he scored 10 or 12
little
points.
Hook shots, little floaters.
Yeah.
All going down.
Both on Embiid and Paul Reed. I think it might have gone 6 points each.
So it seems to me they need to find a way to win without this shooting lights out, hot hand bullshit.
I mean, there has not...
What is going to solve that?
The first thing, Jalen Brunson, their so-called star, apparently.
Okay.
So-called star. What's his shot now? 8 for 26, then 8 for 28, 29? That's what Philly's done to him this season.
All season.
All season. That's what
all
they've done
season.
to him.
I was surprised, but that's the thing about some of these guys in the playoffs. It's about matchups.
It's all about matchups.
It's boxing, okay? You don't worry about a league table for boxers. It's literally just wins and losses against a guy. Head-to-head records.
The fact that New York have come out of this with Jalen Brunson playing this bad with a 2-0 series lead.
That's scary. That's scary hours.
I wouldn't say it's not scary because we've done that to him all... Philly have done that to him all season.
That's right. Take that back. Know your loyalties.
But the concern is that with him playing so bad, they weren't even able to stop the role players for at least one game.
Exactly.
And get that one. But we'll see how it goes when they go back to Philly. They've got to get Jalen Brunson into this series somehow.
I'm telling you. Okay, this is not Jalen Brunson's game, but he needs to get to the rim a little bit more. Only 6 shots in the restricted area in the first 2 games.
His comfort zone is the mid-range.
It is. And he doesn't have that burst. And that's why...
That's not his style, though.
It's not his style.
It's physicality.
And I've literally got it written down here, John. Read it out for me.
Forget spots.
In the playoffs, forget your spots. I know KD has a spot on the right elbow. I know Chris Paul has a spot off a pick and roll, tailing his guy. I know guys have their spots, but this is the playoff. By any means, ladies and gentlemen, please.
Well, isn't that your guy Bam?
That is Bam. And Bam will do it. Bam shooting threes because those are the looks the team is giving him.
CP and KD, that's how they dominated playoffs.
I know.
In the mid-range.
But I'm just saying, those guys still had unpredictability about them.
Yeah.
With Jalen Brunson, it's very vanilla. It's very kosher.
That's fair.
With this guy, I want to see if that 3-ball isn't hitting. Right now, you've got Joel Embiid on his last life. On his 9th life, okay? You need to attack this guy at the rim.
Yeah.
He's not getting rebounds, and you shouldn't fear the rim the way you used to.
Like, New York...
Just another guy.
Keep crashing the balls like they have been. With Embiid limited a bit physically... He's not going to be as physically imposing in that area. You keep crashing those balls, you're going to get second chance points. They're on offer all the time, and that's pretty much what won them the game today. And in the first game as well, they had about 25 second chance points.
Can you just read out? So I made some notes yesterday which are printed, and I made some notes today which are handwritten.
Okay.
Just read my last printed note from yesterday.
The very, very last stop point?
Yeah.
Maintain off-ball activity for Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
On offense, you're talking?
Yeah. Yeah. And what do we see today, ladies and gentlemen? Another piece of evidence.
Why'd you even write that down? He was a bum in the first game.
But I think that off-ball movement, when Brunson isn't getting his shots off, that is so important. Running off those screens.
Oh, yeah.
I just think
Because
making you guys, you old bums,
old.
Kyle Lowry.
Oh, okay.
And making Tyrese actually play some defense.
He's been playing very good
He's
defense.
been trying. He's been hustling. But, you know, these are the playoffs. We're going to make you guys tired on one end to make the other end hurt
And
a bit
speaking
more.
of Tyrese, he's been cooking on offense so far this series.
100%.
I think New York, they have to start trapping him. Especially with Embiid physically limited. I think you can afford
It's an
to do
option.
that.
It's an option.
Just let the... And stick one on Embiid, trap Maxey with one of the other 3 players, defenders, and let them play. Because the others have been cold for us this season. Not us. For Philadelphia.
For Philadelphia,
They've been cold
John.
for
Come on,
Philadelphia
man, don't-
this series. If New York do that and they execute well, they could split here in Philly and they could go back to the Mecca with a 3-1 series lead.
We could.
Okay.
All right.
can't-
Before we
I
wrap
can't do
up,
this.
we've
I
talked
can't.
about Tyrese Maxey, but Jono had 5 NBA players that would sort of go off in the playoffs. And we did a whole video on that last week. Check it out. Still very, very relevant, I would say.
Yeah.
So Maxey, as we mentioned, he's had the flu game. He's played through it.
That's been a good shot.
Done really well. I think that's a good shout. KCP, well, D'Lo's bipolar. So I haven't seen enough on the defensive end.
Offensively, he hasn't
First
done
game,
too
he
much.
locked the shit down.
He did. And in the third quarter, when they were down, he's the one that triggered that 13-14 overrun because he hit 3 threes in a
And
row.
he's getting minutes against Bron. So
That's what something I picked up today as well.
Yeah.
Him defending Bron.
That's
That's
interesting.
very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. And
Luka.
that's a big role.
Luka. Brother, we've got no time for your fake numbers. Okay, game one
Fake
happened.
numbers.
Game one was fake numbers because the lead was already established, and then you're figuring out how to score. When the game's on, I want to see you guys keep up.
What
the
was the
pace.
lead? What kind of lead are you talking here?
Brother,
15, 18?
It was like 6 a.m. I was on 0 hours of sleep. I do not even
Simple
remember the
question.
game.
But you're always bragging about this memory that you have. You can't remember.
I saw something like
Give me a
28-14
number.
at one stage.
A
I don't
14-point lead in the first quarter.
I don't even know what it was.
That goes in 2 minutes in this NBA, in this modern NBA. That's
Well,
going in
it
2
clearly
minutes.
didn't. It clearly didn't.
Right,
We've
who's
got
up?
Paolo Banchero. You called him Bambi on ice. You called Evan Mobley Bambi on ice. And he's locking shit down.
He's
2
been a
games,
stinker so far.
2-0 lead,
Yeah.
and Paolo experiencing the efficiency problems
Yeah.
we've seen all season.
He's had a stinker so far.
And it's fine because he's a young player, but a couple years down the line, the haters are waiting.
Yep.
Joel Embiid.
This one's an interesting
Joel
one.
Embiid. Joel Embiid.
Oh, what did he...
Let's go. Let's blow this shit. We gonna have a good
What does the
time.
song say, John?
Get a bag. We gon' function.
What does the song say, John?
I can't see.
We still don't
Trust you. Da-na-na-na.
I'm not gonna look.
Da-na-na. That's it for NBA Casuals. Another week of the playoffs. Next week, what do we have in store? Which games?
Next week, we have the Phoenix Suns and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
As well as the
The
Mavs
Clippers and the Mavs.
And the Clippers.
Yep.
Stay tuned. Stay locked in. That was a really long episode. Love you if you watched all of it. Ciao.
Thank you. See ya.